Nobody told you about the truth when it comes to what success really looks like. Nobody really wants to talk about it. So I will. I don't have a problem with it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm here for it. See, everybody wants to talk about the grind, but nobody wants to talk about the grief. You feel what I'm saying? Let that simmer for a moment. Okay, let's talk about it. Let me tell you the truth about what it really takes to succeed. What does success really cost? That's what we're talking about in today's video. Okay, now there are so many myths out here in these internet streets. And if you've already kind of tapped your toe in business, or you've been here for a while, you know it's exhausting. You know it's hard. You know all of the challenges that you're faced with. But everybody makes it seem so seemingly easy and seamless of a transition, right? Especially when you're going from corporate America into the world of business, especially in the online space. Nobody talks about how steep the learning curve is, right? Nobody talks about the toll it takes, and right, how you're taxed, and mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, socially, sexually, all the ways, nutritionally, like you name it. You've been there, done that, right? And you're probably there right now, which is why you're tuned into this video. Let me just say something to you, sis. You are not alone. I need you to hear me. You're not alone. You really and truly not. And you know what? Going back to the myths, right? As far as, excuse me, what it takes to be successful, this is especially true for Black women. And I do need to place emphasis on Black women. Yes, because while I cater to women collectively over 40, Black and brown women and LGBTQ plus women are the marginalized groups I predominantly cater to as well. Okay. So I need to say this because it's all about the truth, right? And we've got to speak transparently here. And it just is what it is, right? In comparison to our white women counterparts. This is the truth, right? When it comes to Black women, we feel the pressure to overcompensate. Do you know why? Because we've always had to work twice as hard to get half as much. You know, I'm telling the truth, right? And so success then ends up being defined by title. Success ends up being defined by money. Success ends up being defined by how busy we can be, right? Who can be the busiest? Who can work the hardest? Who can hustle the hardest, right? Oh, ain't nobody going to outwork me. I got this. This is what I do. And we really wear that like a badge of honor because it's where we've come from and it's all we know. And so we always kind of like revert back to, or by default, we go back to familiar territory, do we not? And that's just not true for others. It just isn't, right? So women of color, in particularly Black women, brown women, you know what I'm saying. So, and you know, those of you who are non-melanated counterparts, if you've been in close connection with, and if you're honest about having, because this is a candid conversation and it takes courage to have the conversation. If you have friends or people in your circle who are Black or brown, you have probably been privy to learning, not firsthand, but by hearing, or by not necessarily experiencing, by hearing from your Black and brown counterparts what they go through. There's nothing you really can do, right, but witness it. And so we have to have these conversations out loud. The reality is this: sacrificing health and sacrificing family and sacrificing your joy for the external validation doesn't make sense. That is the emotional tax of success when it's built on burnout. Okay. So success doesn't, oh, I thought my camera went out. Okay. So I've been having some issues, but success doesn't feel safe for sustainability. Okay. Success does not feel safe for sustainability. And so let's move away from that and let's go ahead and start having the conversations about why legacy requires alignment. When we're talking about building legacies, and we are in fact legacy leaders because those are the women I work with. And so if you follow me, you are definitely a legacy leader, right? You are building your legacy. You are the first generational curse breaker, right? The first generational wealth maker, right? You are the first to get away from that generational cycle of struggle. Maybe the first millionaire, the first of everything. You were the first to go to college, the first to get a high paying job, the first to a lot of things, right? And so you are also on your way to being the first legacy leader, where you are building your legacy that is going to be for your family, for your loved ones, right? You've taken on the baton that your ancestors passed on to you, and you're running fast and furiously towards your future because like your life depends on it, right? Because you are the chosen one. You were given the torch. You are, running to win, right? You're all in it to win it. And so when we talk about building legacies and what that really requires, building a business and building a legacy is based on, it's got to be based on your values, and it's got to be based on your vision as opposed to others' expectations. And when I'm talking about others, I'm really talking about societal standards, right? The societal norms. That's not what we're doing over here, okay? Success is peace. Success is making progress. Success is not pressure. Do you understand what I'm saying? I want to share a story with you really briefly, and I've shared this story before, but I always like to insert my story where it's applicable and where it makes sense, because really you can see yourself in others like me, right? Those who have made it to a level of success and gratification that you're aspiring to achieve, and maybe even close to being there, but you're not satisfied with where you are right now, the way you're building, right? And so, and I'm talking about not just building your, I'm talking about building your legacy as a whole, building your life, your business, and your brand, right? So we're talking about your legacy as a whole. But before we get into that, listen, if you're getting what I'm giving and you love these gems I'm dropping, go ahead and leave a comment right now so we can get this discussion popping. I want to continue this dialogue with you well beyond this video, okay? And so as you are hearing the sound of my voice, let me know what's resonating with you and what's pulling on those heartstrings, but also let me know that if you're also getting value from any of my content, if you've been following me for a minute or not, whether you're new to me or true to me, welcome or welcome back. I appreciate you being here. But what I really want to know is what's resonating with you and what's hitting home right now. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell, okay? So that you can get notified and never miss a single episode whenever I drop new content and or go live, okay? Now, I wanted to share with you a quick story, and that is my personal burnout story. And so I've shared this story a dozen times here. I have a whole lot of videos about it, especially if you've not watched my series, The Resuscitation Room. That's a whole live stream series that I did, I think sometime last year. Yeah, last year, I want to say mid to early part of last year. Anyways, go back and watch that. It's in a playlist, and you'll learn more about that, where I dive really deep into what happened to me. But basically, I experienced burnout. That's why I can talk about this so openly, so candidly, because I've healed through the process now and I'm on the other side, right? My obligation to you is that now that I'm here and I can look back, in hindsight, and as we say, hindsight is 2020, I can see clearly now, right? So I want to pull you forward, pull you on the other side of transformation, which is where I'm at right now. But you got to heal through that. So sometimes we just can't see through our pain, right? But you can borrow my confidence and my level of, what it feels like, and kind of experience what healing feels like through me and my lens, because I'm going to share that with you more in the Legacy Lounge, which I'll talk about here shortly. But basically, in short, I have had a lot of experience with personal burnout, business burnout. Okay. It's not fun. It's not pretty. And neither is the healing process, by the way. Okay. Because it's going to be some ugly truths that comes out that you'll have to deal with and you'll have to address. But it's so worth it. Okay. I had to do things differently, because if I didn't, hell, I already had lost my marriage. Okay. I had already lost friendships. I had to cut loose, quite a few people by my doing. Okay. The demise of those relationships were necessary. Okay. I had to realize that those people were never really truly for me at the level that I needed them to be, at the depth that I needed them to be there for me. So I had to let that go. And it's all about letting go of the things and the people that no longer serve you. Okay. But also, business, just so many aspects of business where it was not, I had to just like redo and unlearn and redo things that I had learned about hustle culture, and I had bought into it, and I was regurgitating those messages, unfortunately. And I don't believe in those things anymore. And I have unsubscribed completely, happily, wholeheartedly in those messages. And I no longer, like share those kinds of messages with you, because that's not the place from which I'm teaching anymore. I'm taking a holistic approach in my teaching methodologies because it's very necessary. Okay. And I'm utilizing my background, my 30 years in corporate America, 25 plus years as an RN, a registered nurse, right? As an RN health and wellness educator, coaching, consulting for the last decade or or more and counting, right? And just 20 plus years in leadership. I've combined all of that, and I take a holistic approach in the way I teach now because I have been through the ringer. Okay. I've lost a lot, right? And I talk more about the dreaded D's, like I said, and I won't go too deep in that because I'm here to keep this short and sweet and to the point for you. But I just want you to know I'm speaking from firsthand information, not secondhand information, not something I've read in a book, right? I have my own sob sad story, but now I can share my success story with you. And that's what this is all about. Not to just stay stuck in the rut, but how can I pull you out of where you are right now and allow you to see through my lens, like I said earlier, what life could actually look like based on what you envision it to be for yourself. So I say all that to say that you've got to do things differently, and it starts with healing. Okay. So I did things differently. I switched things around, including my business model. I kind of rebranded myself. I did a few different things, and I can talk more about that. But you know what I also did? I also start saying more no's than yeses. That means making sure that things and people were energetically aligned with me and really setting some hard boundaries. Okay. Boundaries around my personal life as well as my business. So, how the Legacy Lounge teaches you to be successful on your own terms is by it's a community led, accountability, and self permission based community, right? That's what it really is. And I am actually teaching you how to live freely, finally, like how to build a freedom based business, making at least 5K, if not more. I like that number because even though 10K is like the magic number for women, and I do teach you how to make that and more as well, so you can hit your first 100K year, right? I also want you to realize that a lot of women like you, if you're still in corporate, right, still working that 9 to 5 grind, girl, I know, and you want to get out of that, one of the things that you worry about the most is what am I going to do to make money? What am I going to do to replace my income, especially if you're a high 6-figure salary earner or anywhere near that? You're like, I can't just be working, I don't want to be a strugglepreneur like a lot of us are, right? Myself included. I was that for, the first few years of my business, unfortunately. I'm not ashamed to admit that, right? But I'm not there now. So I want to help you get here, okay? And skip all of that right there. Like that's the whole thing. If you want a cheat code or a shortcut to success, you've really got to start hiring people who can help you. Why not hire a holistic business coach who, like I said, can help you create it's not just about the money, because as I said, it's not just about the success. Like, yes, you want to monetize your skills, right? Your God-given gifts, your talent, all of that. That's easy. What first we got to do though is work on the inner healing so we can expedite your external success. Do you know what I'm saying? That's more important, is to prioritize your self-care, your health, your healing, and your happiness. First, second, last. That's always first. So I will give you the tools you need to reset, to re-energize, to, like revisit and reimagine what your big goals are, what your big aspiration is, what your big dream is. What is your legacy supposed to look like for you? That's got to be defined by you. What success looks like can't be defined by anybody else. So what is your relationship with money? What is your relationship? How do you define success, right? What is your relationship with success? So if you're ready to define success on your terms, okay, if you want to live your first class life and level up and really get into this soft life, this freedom era, I'm here, and I want you to stop playing small. I want you to really, really understand what it's like to think big, dream big, and win big. Okay. I want that for you, and I want you to want that for you, because I can't want it more for you than you want it for yourself. Okay. So let's stop playing by the rules of society. These rules don't work for us anyways. They're just not working for us, right? Anymore. They never really did. Am I lying? Right? So join us in the Legacy Lounge, okay? And let's do this thing together. I'm here to grow through this with you. Doors are open by the time this video comes out. So go ahead. I'm going to leave the link in the pinned comment. Go ahead and click that link. It's going to take you right over to where you need to be to join at the very lowest rate it will ever be for the first 50 founding members. Okay. So get in where you fit in. If you have any questions, go ahead and send me a message, an email, whatever you got to do, and I will happily answer your questions. But definitely be sure to join. Now, I'm going to tune out. while you tune in, be sure to share this video out with at least 3 friends and watch the next video that YouTube recommends, okay? As always, and until next time, I am wholeheartedly in this journey with you. Bye for now, and I'll see you on the inside of the Legacy Lounge.